Okay, let's jump into this. We've got this really interesting set of notes and articles here.
Mm-hmm.
And the core idea is, well, how principles from client-centered coaching, Carl Rogers stuff, humanistic psychology,
Why that whole school of thought?
yeah, how that can actually really change our everyday relationships, friendships, partners, even how we parent.
It's fascinating stuff because the material points out how we often relate based on, well, societal norms, right? Which can feel pretty competitive.
Goal-oriented, maybe a bit fear-driven sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission, our deep dive today, is to pull out the key insights. How do these coaching principles offer, like, a different way?
A better way, maybe, towards deeper connection.
Deeper connection, authenticity, real growth in our actual lives.
Okay, so let's get practical. How does this work? These sources mention 3 core conditions from that client-centered model. First up is unconditional positive regard, UPR.
UPR. It sounds simple, but actually doing it, that's the challenge. It basically means accepting people truly just as they are.
No judgment, no strings attached.
None. Offering warmth, support. It doesn't matter what flaws they have or choices they make. You value the person.
And the examples really hit home. Like parenting, loving your child no matter what, right? Not a thing of good grades, just loving them.
Mm-hmm.
Or in friendships, partnerships, that feeling of being seen, really seen and valued for who you are. The sources say this just melts defensiveness.
It makes sense, doesn't it? If you feel safe and accepted, why build walls?
Totally.
And you contrast that with, well, how things often feel. Society can tie our worth to what we do, what we achieve.
Which leads to what the notes call conditional acceptance.
Right, that underlying message, I'll love you if, or I accept you when.
Yeah.
And the material is clear that breeds insecurity. Deep down, UPR is the antidote, really.
Okay, that's powerful. Principle number 2, empathy.
Empathy. And this isn't just feeling sorry for someone.
No, it's deeper. It's trying to genuinely grasp their world, their feelings, their experience from their shoes.
Exactly. You have to really listen. Put your own stuff aside for a minute.
And the impact. The sources say it's huge. Feeling truly understood like that, it builds incredible connection.
It really does. It can cool down conflicts, build bridges, create psychological safety, that feeling that, it's okay to be vulnerable here.
Which is so different from how a lot of conversations go, right? What one source called lack of deep listening.
Mm-hmm. We just wait for our turn to talk.
Or jump in with advice nobody asked for, trying to fix it instead of just hearing it.
Right. How much of our listening is really about understanding versus just planning what we're going to say next? It's a good question to ask ourselves.
Definitely. Okay, third principle, congruence.
Congruence. Or you could say genuineness. Authenticity.
Being real.
Basically, yeah. Your internal world, thoughts, feelings matches what you show on the outside. Being transparent, honest.
And the payoff here, according to the notes, is trust. Massive trust.
Because when you're genuine, when you're willing to be real, it sort of gives the other person permission to be real too.
It disarms them.
Exactly. Think about the pressure we sometimes feel to put on a performance.
Oh, yeah. Hide the fears, the struggles, maintain the image.
And that constant performance, as the sources point out, just chips away at trust over time. You can't build deep connection on pretense.
So the 3 principles together, UPR, empathy, congruence, they offer a really different path.
A fundamentally different way of relating. It's about building trust, safety, fostering that real connection.
Empowering growth, too, right? In ourselves and others.
Absolutely. And reducing conflict.
Yeah.
Moving away from seeing relationships as something to get from the having.
Towards how we actually are together, the being.
It feels more human.
Yeah.
Taking these powerful ideas out of just the therapy context and into our kitchens, our living rooms.
A really practical framework, then, for relationships that feel more compassionate, more understanding, more fulfilling. So as we wrap up this deep dive, think about that contrast, these principles versus maybe some of the pressures you feel or see around you.
Yeah.
And here's something to maybe chew on, a final thought for you. What if, in your very next chat with someone important to you, you're really focused on showing up with just one of these? Maybe real UPR, or trying hard to be truly congruent.
To pick one.
Yeah, just one. How might that single shift change the whole feel of that interaction? Something to consider.